Have you ever wondered what kind of bird can survive where even life says, nope, not happening? Seriously, some birds have it easy. They chill in palm trees, sip nectar, and sing about sunshine. But others, they're out there fighting blizzards, dodging sandstorms, and turning the word impossible into their morning routine. From the frozen edges of Antarctica to deserts hotter than your car seat in July, these birds aren't just survivors. They're full-on rebels of evolution, wrapped in feathers thicker than your winter jacket, running on instincts sharper than a caffeine buzz. They thrive where no sane creature would even try, and they do it with style. Like imagine facing a minus 60-degree blizzard and still looking red carpet ready. That's the kind of energy we're talking about. So yeah, 20 birds, each born of ice and dust, each proving that extremes don't break you, they build you. But here's the real question. When nature pushes everything to the limit, which of these birds actually becomes the king of extremes? You ever thought your job was tough? Try being a dad who stands in a blizzard for 2 months, holding a single egg on his feet, while his partner's gone fishing hundreds of miles away. No food, no break, no out-of-office email, just you, the cold, and an egg that can't touch the ground, or it dies. Yeah, welcome to Emperor Penguin fatherhood. In the middle of Antarctica, where even the sun gives up for half the year, these birds do parenting like it's a survival sport. The female lays one egg, then waddles off to sea to refuel. Meanwhile, the male tucks that egg under a flap of skin called a brood pouch, balancing it carefully on his feet like he's protecting the world's most fragile Fabergé egg. Weeks pass. The wind screams. Temperatures drop to 60 below zero. And still, he stands. No snacks, no naps, no complaining. Now be honest, how long would you last before saying, you know what, honey, maybe we just adopt? When the storm hits hardest, thousands of penguin dads huddle together, one giant, waddling, breathing blanket of feathers. They rotate positions, taking turns at the edge, so no one freezes completely. That's not just instinct, that's teamwork. Imagine trying that with your coworkers. Okay, Jim, your turn on the outside. Yeah, that'd go well. Fun fact number 1. Emperor penguins have 4 layers of feathers, tighter than any winter coat you've ever owned. Fun fact number 2. They can dive over 1,600 feet deep and hold their breath for 20 minutes. Basically, they're part bird, part submarine. But here's the twist. This so-called emperor doesn't rule over gold or glory. He rules through endurance, through sacrifice, through standing still while the world freezes around him. So tell me, who's the real king? The one with the crown and the throne, or the one standing on ice, keeping life alive with nothing but love and sheer willpower? And be honest, if that were your job description, would you survive 2 months in Antarctica? Or would you be calling DoorDash halfway through the first blizzard? Ever tried swimming in water so cold it could freeze your eyebrows off? Yeah, the thick-billed Murray does that every single day, by choice. Up in the Arctic, where the ocean bites and the air burns, this bird doesn't fly to escape the cold. It dives straight into it, like, oh, the water's icy? Perfect, let's go shopping for fish. The Murray isn't your average seabird. It's a little black and white torpedo with wings that double as flippers. While most birds flap through air, this one flaps underwater, slicing through freezing waves like a feathered submarine. And get this, it can dive more than 300 feet deep. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty. For a bird that weighs less than a football, that's insane. Life on the cliffs is just as dramatic. They nest shoulder to shoulder on narrow ledges, thousands of birds packed tighter than commuters on a New York subway at rush hour. No nest, no privacy, just chaos, feathers, and constant squawking. And somehow, they know which chick is theirs among all that noise. You forget your car in a parking lot, but this bird finds its baby by voice. Fun fact number 1. Murray chicks take the world's scariest leap of faith. At only 3 weeks old before they can even fly, they jump off 300-foot cliffs into the sea below, guided only by their dad's call. If that's not trust, I don't know what is. Fun fact number 2. Even though they look like penguins, Murres can actually fly. Kind of. More like angry bumblebee flying. Short, fast, and extremely determined. Here's the twist. The thick-billed Murray spends its life between two extremes, the sky and the sea, the freezing air and the frozen water. It's not built for comfort, it's built for commitment. So tell me, if you had to choose between flying through blizzards or diving into ice water every day just to eat, which would you pick? Because honestly, the Murray doesn't pick. It does both, and still manages to look like it's wearing a tux. You ever seen something so white, so still, that for a second you thought the snow itself had eyes? That's the snowy owl, the ghost of the Arctic. Beautiful, silent, and absolutely deadly if you happen to be a lemming with poor life choices. Out here, where the world's either blindingly bright or pitch black for months, the snowy owl rules like a ninja in white velvet. While other birds are migrating south for margaritas, she's out here hunting in 60 below wind chill, totally unfazed. She doesn't hoot, she doesn't flap, she glides, a white whisper sliding over the tundra. And when she locks eyes on something, it's over. A tiny movement under the snow, one silent swoop, boom, dinner is served. You don't even hear the wings. You just stop being part of the food chain. She's got eyes that see like headlights in a snowstorm, and hearing so sharp she can detect prey beneath the snow. That's like hearing a bag of chips open 3 houses away. Fun fact number 1, her feet are completely covered in feathers. Nature's snow boots, no socks needed. Fun fact number 2, that adorable round face? It works like a satellite dish, funneling sound directly to hidden ears under all that fluff. Basically, she's an Arctic drone, silent, efficient, beautiful, and slightly terrifying. But here's the twist. When the Arctic runs out of food, the snowy owl doesn't panic. She just leaves. Wanders hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles south. Shows up in cities, airports, even beaches. Perched on lampposts, staring down at traffic like, yeah, I used to live near the North Pole. This is fine now. Here's a mini debate. Is that smart adaptation or pure diva energy? Because this bird doesn't just survive the extremes, she owns them. So tell me, if you were dropped into a frozen wasteland tomorrow, would you become invisible and thrive like the snowy owl? Or be the guy Googling how to build an igloo using emotional support? Ever wonder who follows polar bears around just to grab leftovers? Meet the ivory gull, the cleanest looking scavenger you'll ever see. Pure white feathers, black eyes, and a diet that's, well, mostly whatever's left after the polar bear's lunch break. Up in the high Arctic, where ice replaces land and silence replaces life, the ivory gull floats through the freezing air like a ghost in designer snow gear. You might think it hunts. Nope. This bird is nature's cleanup crew, showing up after the big guys are done eating. Carcass of a seal? Great. Whale scraps? Perfect. It's like the bird version of, you gonna finish that? And somehow it still looks elegant. Most scavengers look rough. This one's spotless. Always polished, always glowing, like it just came out of a snow spa. Makes you wonder, how does a bird that eats dead things look this pure? Maybe that's the secret Arctic skincare routine we've been missing. Fun fact number 1, ivory gulls have been found following polar bears across miles of ice, like little white paparazzi waiting for the next meal drop. Fun fact number 2, scientists once discovered trace amounts of mercury and plastic in their bodies from pollution thousands of miles away. Yep, even up here, in nature's quietest corner, our trash finds them. If that doesn't sting a little, it should. But here's the twist. While most gulls live in crowded beaches and garbage dumps, this one thrives in silence. No crowds, no comfort, no warmth, just cold winds and icebergs for days. It's both haunting and heroic, living at the edge of the world, keeping it clean. So here's my question. Is the ivory gull a survivor, a scavenger, or maybe the Arctic's last minimalist influencer? Because honestly, if eating seal scraps and flying through blizzards still makes you look that good, maybe we're the ones doing self-care wrong. Ever seen a bird that literally changes outfits with the seasons? Yeah, meet the snow bunting, the Arctic's little fashion icon. In summer, it's all rusty orange and warm brown tones. Come winter, boom, all white. Like it just said, new season, new me. Way up in the tundra, where spring basically means less deadly than usual, the snow bunting lives its best minimalist life. No trees, no shelter, no problem. They nest in cracks between rocks, raise chicks while dodging snowstorms, and somehow sing like life's a musical. And get this, while most birds flee south the moment it gets chilly, the snow bunting's like, nah, I'm good right here in the icebox. It doesn't just survive the cold, it uses it. That white plumage, not just for looks, it keeps them invisible from predators and helps reflect sunlight to avoid overheating. A bird that's basically a fashion designer and an engineer. Fun fact number 1, during migration, these tiny birds can travel over 2,000 miles. For something that weighs less than a tennis ball, that's like running a marathon every day wearing feathers. Fun fact number 2, male snow buntings arrive at their Arctic nesting sites weeks before the females, just to claim the best spots in the snow. Gentlemen, take notes. But here's where it gets interesting. Scientists call them the first bird of spring in the Arctic because they show up before anything else is brave enough to return. That's not optimism. That's pure Arctic audacity. Now let's be honest. If you had to choose between a beach vacation or flying back into a blizzard, which would you pick? Because the snow bunting chooses snow every single time. So maybe this little bird isn't just a survivor. It's a reminder that transformation isn't just about changing color. It's about knowing who you are, wherever you land. So tell me, if your world kept freezing and thawing every few months, would you adapt like the snow bunting? Or spend winter binge watching and calling it hibernation? Ever wonder what it feels like to fly higher than clouds, higher than planes, higher than most birds even dare to breathe? Ask the Andean condor, the heavyweight champion of the sky. This bird doesn't fly, it soars, effortlessly, gracefully, like gravity just gave up trying. Picture this, the Andes Mountains, peaks slicing through the sky, air so thin your lungs would file a complaint. And here comes the condor, wings spread nearly 10 feet across, riding invisible rivers of air, barely flapping, just gliding, watching the world spin beneath him. Now that's not flying, that's owning the sky. And he's not doing it for fun. He's scouting for food, carcasses to be exact. Yep, this majestic bird's diet is basically roadkill with altitude. But in the condor's world, nothing goes to waste. He's nature's cleanup crew, keeping the mountains from turning into a buffet of rot. Fun fact number 1, Andean condors can fly up to 5 hours straight without flapping once. They ride thermal updrafts like pro surfers on waves of air. Fun fact number 2, their wingspan is the largest of any land bird, about 10.5 feet tip to tip. That's wider than most people's living rooms. Here's the twist though. Despite their size, condors are quiet, calm, and oddly graceful. They live for decades, mate for life, and raise just one chick every 2 years. No rush, no panic, just long-term commitment at 10,000 feet. Now imagine that, one chick every 2 years. Meanwhile, pigeons are out here raising 5 families before lunch. Makes you wonder which one's really winning the game of life, right? Andean condors are worshipped by Andean cultures as messengers of the gods, symbols of freedom and eternity. When you see one drift across the sky, you kind of get it. It's not just a bird, it's a floating legend. So tell me, if you could trade your 9 to 5 for the life of a condor, gliding above the clouds with zero effort and the best view on Earth, would you take it? Or would you miss your Wi-Fi too much to enjoy the silence? Ever tried jogging up a hill and gasping for air halfway through? Now imagine flying over the Himalayas. Yeah, the same mountains that make climbers cry for oxygen tanks. That's a Tuesday for the bar-headed goose, the bird that said, "Who needs air anyway?" Every year, these geese pull off one of the craziest commutes in nature. They migrate from India to Mongolia, and to do that, they fly right over Mount Everest. Not around it, not under it, over. At 29,000 feet, where the air is so thin, even helicopters struggle. Humans need masks. The bar-headed goose? Just vibes. And here's how they pull it off. Their blood is built different. Literally. It binds oxygen better than any other bird, and their breathing rate doubles in thin air without losing control. Their heart pumps like a turbocharged engine. Their lungs, efficiency goals. Basically, they're the marathon runners of the sky. Fun fact number 1. Scientists once attached GPS trackers and confirmed these birds can fly for 8 straight hours above 25,000 feet. That's higher than most commercial flights. Fun fact number 2, they usually travel at night. Not for peace and quiet, but because the air is denser and easier to breathe. Smart and dramatic. Classic overachievers. But here's the twist. They don't do this because they love danger. They do it because it's the fastest route. They could go around the mountains, but no. They take the hardest path on purpose, just to save a little time. Efficiency or insanity? You decide. So tell me, if your GPS told you Route A, around the world's tallest mountain, Route B, straight over it, which would you choose? Because the bar-headed goose doesn't hesitate. It just spreads its wings, hits 29,000 feet, and leaves Mount Everest in the rearview mirror. And you? Still complaining about walking up the stairs. Imagine waking up every day on the side of a mountain so steep your morning walk could be your last. That's daily life for the Himalayan snowcock. A bird that basically said, yeah, I'll take the penthouse suite on the cliff, perched high in the Himalayas, where the air's razor thin and the wind screams like it's angry at everything. This chunky, tough bird lives where even snow leopards think twice about going. No trees, no shelter, no problem. It struts around the frozen slopes, calm as a mountain monk with feathers. And here's the thing. While most birds are busy escaping bad weather, the snowcock just digs in. When the storm hits, it hunkers down in snow pits like a feathery camper. When the cold bites, it fluffs up those dense feathers, nature's built-in parka, and keeps pecking for seeds like nothing happened. You can spot them calling across the cliffs with that weird echoing whistle that sounds half like a laugh, half like a dare. It's the mountain version of, yeah, I'm still here. Deal with it. Fun fact number 1, the Himalayan snowcock's lungs and blood are adapted for oxygen-thin air, allowing it to thrive at altitudes above 16,000 feet. That's higher than most planes cruise over city airports. Fun fact number 2, it's actually the national bird of Ladakh, India. Apparently, even nations respect its no excuses attitude. But here's the twist. While the snowcock looks all tough and grounded, it's actually an amazing runner. When predators show up, it doesn't fly off in panic. It runs uphill. That's right, uphill, on loose rocks in freezing wind. Ever tried running upstairs in ski boots? Yeah, that's the energy. So tell me, if life threw you on top of a mountain with no oxygen, would you find a way to live like the snowcock? Or spend the rest of the day blaming bad altitude Wi-Fi? Because this bird, it doesn't just survive storms. It is the storm. Feathery, fearless, and somehow still fabulous. What if I told you that one of the toughest mountain survivors isn't some giant eagle or mystical condor, but a tiny sparrow with a killer playlist? Yeah, meet the rufous-collared sparrow. A bird that proves size means nothing when you've got lungs, rhythm, and attitude. Up in the high Andes, where the air's thin, nights bite, and the wind never shuts up, this little bird sings like it's performing at the Grammys. No auto-tune, no mic, just pure heart and high-altitude talent. You'd think living at 13,000 feet would make anyone cranky, but not this guy. He wakes up, fluffs his feathers, and belts out a melody that says, yeah, I own this mountain. Now here's where it gets interesting. This sparrow's song actually changes depending on where it lives. Different valleys, different dialects, like local accents in bird language. It's not just music, it's communication, territorial bragging, and flirting, all in one tune. Fun fact number 1, researchers found that rufous-collared sparrows living higher up the Andes have slower songs, because thin air literally changes how sound travels. Fun fact number 2, They can survive freezing nights by lowering their body temperature slightly, basically going into energy-saving mode. Yeah, your phone does that too, but less gracefully. What's wild is that this little creature shares the same oxygen challenges as mountaineers, but instead of huffing and puffing, it sings through it. While you're catching your breath halfway up a hiking trail, this bird's out here dropping the next big mountain hit single. Here's the twist. This tiny sparrow, smaller than your hand, thrives where even big raptors struggle. Its secret weapon? Adaptability. It learns, adjusts, and keeps singing, even when life's cold, thin, and uphill. So tell me, when the air gets thin and things get hard, are you gonna lose your song? Or keep singing like this little dude in the Andes? Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is keep your rhythm when the world's running out of breath. You think summer in Arizona is bad? Try living in the Kalahari Desert, where the air feels like it's personally offended by your existence. Now meet the southern yellow-billed hornbill, the bird that laughs at heat waves like it's sipping lemonade in a sauna. This flashy little character, with that oversized yellow bill, looks like it just walked out of a cartoon. But don't let the looks fool you. This bird is built for desert survival. While other animals hide in the shade panting for dear life, the hornbill's out here hustling bugs under the blazing sun, looking like it's having the time of its life. That big banana-shaped bill? Not just for show, it's actually a built-in radiator. When the heat hits, blood flows through special vessels in the bill, cooling the bird down like nature's air conditioner. Meanwhile, you're still complaining about your car AC. And here's where it gets genius. During breeding season, the female hornbill seals herself inside a tree cavity with mud and droppings, leaving only a tiny slit for the male to pass food through. It's like a weird romantic prison, but it keeps her and the chicks safe from predators in the brutal desert sun. Talk about commitment. Fun fact number 1. The southern yellow-billed hornbill can actually slow down its metabolism to survive long stretches without food or water. Fun fact number 2, they're also nicknamed flying bananas because of that giant yellow beak, which honestly sounds like a cereal mascot waiting to happen. But here's the twist. This bird doesn't just survive heat, it embraces it. It turns the desert into a comedy stage, bouncing around, squawking, flashing that bill like it's saying, yeah, I'm hot, but I look good doing it. So tell me, if you had to live in a desert where the ground burns your shoes off, would you melt like ice cream or strut through it with that same hornbill confidence? Because in a world full of heat and chaos, maybe survival isn't about hiding from the sun. Maybe it's about learning to shine right through it. If the desert had a sports car, it would have feathers and attitude. And it'd be the greater roadrunner. Yeah, that bird from the cartoons, totally real. And spoiler alert, it's even cooler in real life. This guy doesn't just run fast. He flies across the desert floor at nearly 20 miles per hour. That's faster than most people drive in a school zone. With long legs, sleek feathers, and that wild spiky head crest, he looks like a desert punk rocker who's late for band practice. While other birds take to the air, the roadrunner prefers the ground. Why waste energy flying when you can sprint? He hunts lizards, snakes, even scorpions, grabbing them mid-run and smashing them against a rock like a tiny, feathery gladiator. Yeah, he's basically a sports highlight reel with wings. And when the heat hits hard, he's got a built-in desert survival system. He lowers his body temperature at night, then basks in the morning sun with his wings spread wide, black feathers soaking in warmth like a solar panel. Free energy, no batteries required. Fun fact number 1, roadrunners are one of the few birds that can actually kill rattlesnakes. They tag team them. One distracts, the other goes for the head. It's like a feathered buddy cop movie with serious bite. Fun fact number 2, despite the name, they can fly. They just think it's overrated. But here's the twist. Beneath all that swagger, the roadrunner's actually strategic. Every step, every chase, every hunt is calculated. This isn't chaos, it's choreography. The desert's got its own rhythm, and this bird's leading the dance. So let's settle a debate. Who's the real icon of speed? The cheetah, the falcon, Or this scrappy little roadrunner burning up the sand highways? Because honestly, if you can sprint through 110-degree heat, eat snakes for breakfast, and still look like you're late for a party, you've already won the race. Imagine being a dad who has to fly miles across a scorching desert just to bring water back to your kids, and the only bottle you've got is your belly. Welcome to the life of the sand grouse, a bird so dedicated it makes every other parent look lazy. The sand grouse lives in some of the driest places on Earth: Africa, Arabia, Central Asia, where rain is more rumor than reality. There's no water fountain, no oasis, no hydration app. So what does this bird do? It flies for hours every morning to find water holes, then soaks up water into the feathers on its belly. Yes, you heard that right. It's feathers. Each feather traps and holds drops of water, turning Dad into a literal flying sponge. He then races back home, and the chicks drink the water straight from his soaked plumage. It's like Uber Eats, but with more sand and better service. Fun fact number 1, a male sand grouse can carry nearly 2 tablespoons of water in his feathers. That's enough to hydrate a handful of chicks in a single trip. Fun fact number 2, their feathers have a unique microscopic structure. They lock water in tight, even while flying through blistering desert heat. Take notes, water bottle companies. But here's the twist. Those daily flights aren't just about love. They're about survival. If the father doesn't return, the chicks die within hours. So every day is a race against the sun. No excuses, no days off, just devotion. Now tell me, how far would you go to keep your family alive? Because this bird crosses miles of burning sand every sunrise just to make sure his kids get a sip of water. So the next time you complain about fetching groceries in summer, remember the sand grouse, the desert's courier of life, flying home with a belly full of hope. All right, picture this. The desert sun is blazing, everything's melting, and here comes a bird that looks like it just walked off the set of The Mummy. White feathers, yellow face, punky crest, and the confidence of someone who knows exactly how smart they are. That's the Egyptian vulture, the brainiac of the Badlands. While most vultures rely on brute force and nasty appetites, this one uses strategy. It's like the Sherlock Holmes of scavengers. Cool under pressure, always observing, and just a little smug about it. Here's the headline move. The Egyptian vulture is one of the few birds on Earth that uses tools. When it finds an ostrich egg too thick to break with its beak, it grabs a rock and smashes the egg open. Yeah, rock as a hammer. That's not instinct. That's innovation. Nature's version of work smarter, not harder. And while it feeds on carcasses like other vultures, it's surprisingly clean and careful about it. It even prefers smaller leftovers, like it's got standards in the buffet line. Fun fact number 1, ancient Egyptians revered this bird as sacred, believing it symbolized motherhood and protection. They even painted it on temple walls as a goddess symbol. Fun fact number 2, Egyptian vultures have been seen following herds and even human garbage dumps. They know opportunity when they see it, but here's the twist. Despite being clever, this bird's fighting extinction. Poison food, shrinking habitat, and power lines have cut its numbers fast. Even the smartest can't outthink human carelessness. Kinda hits different, doesn't it? Still, it survives, adapting, learning, scavenging its way through chaos. A little rough, a little regal, and a lot resilient. So here's a question for you. In a world where everyone's fighting for survival, would you rather be strong like the eagle or smart like the vulture? Because out here in the desert, brains beat brawn, and the Egyptian vulture proves that the cleverest survivor isn't always the prettiest, just the one who figures it out first. If the desert had a nightclub, the greater sage grouse would be the headliner. No, seriously. This bird doesn't just survive the dry plains of North America, it performs on them. Every dawn during mating season, the males gather in the middle of the sagebrush, spread their tail feathers like desert peacocks, and start one of the most ridiculous and impressive dances in nature. We're talking chest popping, feather fluffing, and these hilarious plop-plop sounds made by inflating 2 yellow air sacs on their chests. Yeah, nature gave them built-in whoopee cushions for flirting. The ladies watch from the sidelines, totally unimpressed at first. But the males keep going, strutting, thumping, looking like they're auditioning for America's Got Feathers. Only the best dancer wins the date, and that's not even a joke. Now here's where things get wild. These birds live in one of the harshest landscapes in North America. Dry, cold, wind-blown sagebrush deserts. They eat tough, oily sage leaves most animals can't stand. You know that smell of sage when you cook? Imagine living on it every single day. Fun fact number 1. During winter, sage grouse eat only sagebrush. No bugs, no berries, nothing else. Their guts have special microbes that detoxify the plant's chemicals. Fun fact number 2. Males can dance for hours each morning, burning through energy reserves just to look fabulous. That's commitment, or insanity, hard to tell. But here's the twist. As impressive as their show is, the sage grouse is disappearing fast. Habitat loss and wildfires have turned much of their stage to dust. It's like losing the world's weirdest, most beautiful concert venue. So tell me, what do you think? Should humans learn something from this bird? The way it fights extinction with art, performance, and a little sass? Because in a world that's drying up fast, sometimes the only way to stay alive is to dance louder than the silence. Okay, imagine being a penguin living in Africa. Yeah, you heard that right. Forget snow, forget glaciers. These little tuxedoed rebels waddle along sunny beaches and hot rocks. Meet the African penguin, the bird that basically said, "Who needs Antarctica when I've got Cape Town?" But don't let the vacation vibes fool you. These guys live in one of the harshest balancing acts on Earth. The icy Atlantic on one side, the burning Namib Desert on the other. They're constantly switching between freezing water and scorching heat. It's like jumping between a freezer and a sauna every 5 minutes. Their secret? They've evolved to handle both extremes like pros. They've got a slick layer of waterproof feathers that trap air and keep them warm in cold surf. And those pink patches above their eyes? That's a built-in cooling system. When they get too hot, blood flows there to release heat. Basically, nature's version of air conditioning goggles. And when it comes to parenting, oh, they've got it down. They dig nests in sand or under rocks and take turns babysitting the eggs while the other fish is offshore. Teamwork goals, right? Meanwhile, you can barely get your roommate to take out the trash. Fun fact number 1. African penguins are also called jackass penguins because their call sounds like a donkey braying. No joke, it's hilarious. Fun fact number 2, they can dive over 400 feet deep and stay underwater for more than 2 minutes. Not bad for a bird in beachwear. But here's the twist. These cool dudes are in serious trouble. Oil spills, overfishing, and climate change have cut their numbers by more than 70% in a century. They're fighting for survival in a place that's getting hotter and hungrier by the year. Still, they waddle on, sunburned, brave, and stubbornly adorable. A little ridiculous, a lot resilient. So tell me, if life dropped you between fire and ice, would you melt or adapt like this penguin, rocking a tux in the desert, laughing at the odds? Because honestly, if the African penguin can make paradise out of chaos, maybe there's hope for the rest of us too. Now picture this, a tiny bird, lighter than your phone, swinging between frozen reeds like a gymnast in the middle of a snowstorm. That's the bearded reedling, also known as the bearded tit. And despite the name, no, it doesn't have an actual beard. Just 2 sleek black mustache stripes that give it serious old-school swagger. It lives in Europe and Asia's chilly wetlands, places that freeze solid in winter and flood in summer. Basically, the worst rental property on Earth. But the reedling, it thrives there. Because where others see chaos, sees a playground. This bird spends its days clinging acrobatically to reeds, flipping, hopping, and twisting through the marsh like it's doing CrossFit. When winter hits and bugs disappear, most birds migrate south. Not this one. It switches diets entirely, from insects to seeds, and grows a stronger gizzard to handle the crunch. It's like upgrading your stomach for survival mode. Fun fact number 1, The bearded reedling has specialized feet that can grip thin reeds even when they're iced over. Think bird version of crampons for climbing. Fun fact number 2, it communicates with soft, metallic ping sounds, tiny musical echoes that bounce across the frozen wetlands like sonar pings in a steel blue dreamscape. Here's the twist. This bird isn't flashy, it's flexible. It doesn't fight the seasons, it flows with them. One month it's chasing bugs, the next it's cracking seeds, always adjusting, never breaking. And in a world where change is the only constant, that might just be the smartest survival skill of all. So tell me, when life freezes over and everything familiar disappears, would you panic and fly south? Or would you hang on like the bearded reedling, singing ping into the cold until spring comes back? Because this little bird's not just surviving the frost, it's making winter sound like jazz. Imagine living your whole life surrounded by blinding sunlight, salty wind, and no shade for miles. Welcome to the world of the black-naped tern, the barefoot traveler of tropical oceans. These sleek white birds spend their lives hovering over coral atolls and turquoise seas, looking like floating shards of sunlight with wings. They don't have forests or cozy nests, just rock, sand, and sea. Every day's a beach day, but you know, the kind where everything's trying to cook you alive, and yet somehow they make it look easy. Their feathers are blindingly white to reflect heat, and their long tails act like stabilizers, keeping them aerodynamic in winds that would send you flying off your beach chair. But here's the real trick. These birds never stop moving. They travel across vast stretches of open ocean, touching down only on tiny islands to rest or raise chicks. No cities, no crowds, no comfort, just endless blue. They're basically the digital nomads of the bird world, but with better tan lines and zero Wi-Fi. Fun fact number 1, black-naped terns can drink seawater. They've got special glands above their eyes that filter out the salt. So while you're paying for bottled water, they're out there sipping the ocean. Fun fact number 2, their call is a sharp, echoing kip, kip, kip that can travel across the surf for hundreds of feet, a built-in walkie-talkie for life at sea. Now here's the twist. As perfect as their paradise looks, it's fragile. Rising sea levels and heat waves are wiping out the very islands they depend on. The endless summer they live in might just be running out of sand. So tell me, could you handle a life without roots, chasing waves and sunlight with nowhere to call home? Because the black-naped tern doesn't belong to any one place. It belongs to everywhere the horizon touches the sea. And honestly, that's not a bad way to live, if you're brave enough to keep flying into the sun. If the Arctic Ocean had a party, the crested auklet would be the one in the center, rocking that wild mohawk, smelling great, and making everyone laugh. Yeah, you heard that right, smelling great. Because this little seabird from the North Pacific actually wears perfume. These puffin-sized charmers live on icy cliffs, where waves crash like thunder and wind cuts like glass. Yet somehow, they turn the frozen north into a floating nightclub. Thousands gather every summer to flirt, dance, and call out in raspy, ah-ha, sounds that honestly sound like someone's telling bad jokes at 3 a.m. And that crest, it's not just for looks, it's a dating signal. The bigger and curlier the feather curl, the more attractive you are. Add in that citrus-like scent. Yep, a real orangey smell. And suddenly you've got Arctic romance in full swing. Who knew penguins had competition? While they might look goofy, these birds are built tough. They nest on bare rock ledges in freezing mist and dive into icy water chasing plankton and krill like tiny torpedoes. Their feathers are so dense they can trap air and stay warm even after multiple dives. Basically wearing the world's best wetsuit. Fun fact number 1, scientists think that citrus smell may act like both a love potion and bug repellent. Cologne and bug spray, efficient. Fun fact number 2, crested auklets live in massive colonies that can number in the hundreds of thousands. A feathery, noisy, social explosion on a cliff face. But here's the twist. For all their chaos and comedy, these birds rely on each other to survive. When the cold gets brutal, They huddle in tight groups, sharing warmth, comfort, and the occasional bad breath. It's messy, it's loud, it's home. So tell me, would you survive better as a loner in the cold? Or would you rather be part of the noisy, smelly, hilarious crowd that never quits? Because in the Arctic, friendship isn't optional. It's the difference between freezing and living. Imagine living your whole life surrounded by waves taller than houses, winds that never stop screaming, and skies that can turn from blue to nightmare gray in seconds. That's not chaos. That's home for the black-browed albatross, the storm voyager of the Southern Ocean. With a wingspan stretching over 7 feet, this bird doesn't flap. It glides, effortlessly, endlessly, beautifully. It can soar for hours, sometimes days, without beating its wings once, riding the wild winds that circle Antarctica like it's surfing the sky. And those dark brows over its sharp eyes, they give it a look of permanent judgment, like it's silently saying, "You call that turbulence?" The albatross is built for drama. It thrives where ships vanish and waves explode, nesting on remote islands that barely appear on maps. When storms roll in, it doesn't run. It rides them, carving figure eights through hurricane winds with surgeon precision. Fun fact number 1, black-browed albatrosses can travel over 600 miles in a single day without using an ounce of extra energy. They use something called dynamic soaring, a flight technique so advanced pilots study it for aircraft design. Fun fact number 2, they mate for life. Every year, even after months apart, they find the same partner through their distinctive courtship dance. A duet of clicks, nods, and soft calls, somehow romantic even in 80-mile-per-hour gusts. But here's the twist. For all their strength and elegance, these birds face a danger they can't outfly. Us. Long-line fishing and plastic waste kill thousands every year. They can ride a storm, but they can't dodge a hook. Still, the albatross keeps flying. Through sleet, through salt, through centuries of change, a symbol of freedom, grace, and stubborn hope. So tell me, would you dare live where the world ends and the ocean begins? Where storms are your roads and silence your only companion? Because the black-browed albatross does it every day, and somehow it still makes it look peaceful. All right, let's end this wild flight of extremes with a plot twist. The smallest bird on Earth might just be the biggest legend. Meet the Bee Hummingbird, the tiny spark from Cuba that makes giants look clumsy. This bird is so small, it could sit on your thumb and still have room to judge you. It weighs less than a dime. Its nest, smaller than a ping pong ball. Its eggs, about the size of coffee beans. And yet this little blur of wings beats the air 80 times a second. So fast you don't even see it move. You just hear the hum. But don't let the size fool you. The Bee Hummingbird burns energy like a Formula One engine. Its heart can beat 1,200 times per minute. That's faster than your favorite rock song. And it visits up to 1,500 flowers a day just to stay fueled. While you're still hitting snooze, it's already on its 3rd nectar bar. And here's the wild part. When night falls, this tiny dynamo powers down. Literally, it drops its body temperature, slows its heartbeat, and enters a mini hibernation called torpor to survive the night. Basically, the bird version of turning on low power mode. Fun fact number 1, it's so small that bees sometimes mistake it for another bee. Awkward, right? Fun fact number 2, males shimmer with metallic red and blue feathers so bright, they look like flying jewels under the Caribbean sun. Nature really said, you may be tiny, but you're gonna sparkle. And here's the twist. In a world full of predators, storms, deserts, and glaciers, this little bird proves that survival isn't about size or strength. It's about speed, brilliance, and heart. A heart that never stops beating, even when the odds say it shouldn't. So tell me, after everything we've seen, from penguins and blizzards to condors above the clouds, isn't it poetic that the final symbol of endurance isn't the biggest bird in the world, but the smallest one that refuses to slow down? Because maybe true power isn't in being unstoppable, it's in being unbelievably alive. So here we are, 20 wings, 20 worlds, 20 ways life refuses to quit. From the frozen kingdom of the emperor penguin to the blazing dunes of the hornbill and the roadrunner, from the ghostly silence of the snowy owl to the lightning heartbeat of the bee hummingbird. We've flown through ice, dust, and everything in between. And what did we find? That survival doesn't look one way. Sometimes it's massive wings riding storms above the ocean. Sometimes it's a father standing in snow, guarding one fragile egg. Sometimes it's a bird the size of a bee, defying gravity with nothing but courage and sugar. Each of them carries the same truth. Life will always find a way to adapt, to twist, to change, to outsmart the impossible. And maybe that's what being forged by extremes really means. Not conquering nature, but learning how to dance with it. You see, these birds aren't just survivors, they're storytellers, writing their tales in wind, water, and time. Their flight is proof that endurance can be beautiful, that fragility can be fierce, and that the tiniest heart can burn the brightest. So here's a question to take with you. If every one of these creatures can rise from ice and dust, adapt, evolve, and thrive where life should end, what's stopping you? Because maybe deep down, we're all a little like them. Part ice, part fire, a little fragile, a little fearless. And when the world gets too cold, too loud, too harsh, remember the emperor standing in the blizzard. Remember the hummingbird racing the sun. And remember, we were all born of ice and dust. But what we become, that's entirely up to us.